The first week of NHL hockey is in the books, so let's cover it all in 3 minutes or less. We got terrible news for 31 other fan bases because the parade is back on after Auston Matthews records back-to-back hat tricks in his first 2 games. He's the second player other than Ovi in the last 100 years to get back-to-back hatties to start the season, but right now Matthews and the offense are doing a good job at hiding some of the mediocre defense and goaltending for the Leafs so far. Speaking of goaltending and defense, let's check in on the Oilers, who have struggled in both of these areas early on. After being beaten back-to-back games against the Canucks, which included a 4-goal game from Brock Boeser and a puking Thatcher Demko, the Oilers' start to the season has been very disappointing so far. Now, it's only 2 games in, and this team has Stanley Cup aspirations, so they aren't worried one bit, but it's still concerning how they've looked early on. As for the Connor Bedard era launching in the NHL, fans are already entirely sick of hearing about him. They better get used to it though, because he's looked decent to start his career, as he's got 3 points in 3 games, and he hasn't looked out of place at all. Being the next one comes with a boatload of attention, and he's already received a warm welcome from Brad Marchand and the Boston Bruins to try and get him off his game. The media has been all over every little thing about Bedard, and that's part of the territory, but hopefully it doesn't start impacting the mental side of his game. Golden Knights' Brett Howden got a 2-game suspension for this hit to the head on Chris Tanev. Can't do that. Jacob Trouba made the save of the year here on the goal line in a losing effort to Columbus. Cole Caulfield just makes me sick with this goal. Goes inside out, throws a backhand, and then bats it out of the air. Then you have Adam Laurie, who doesn't break stride on the play after losing his stick, and Josh Morrissey on the bench feeds him on the fly to continue the play, and he's able to set up Appleton to finish the shorthanded goal. The Ducks are supposed to be a bad team, but I refuse to believe it as long as they wear those classic uniforms and slap around a Stanley Cup contender in the Carolina Hurricanes. Ovi also continues his chase to become the greatest goal scorer of all time. He welcomed Erik Karlsson to the Penguins-Caps rivalry, but he would ultimately get shut out in their home opener. What's been disappointing this week? Well, it's been the Buffalo Sabres. With all the young and exciting talent they have in their core, everyone expected them to take another step this year. They dropped their first 2 games to the Rangers and the Islanders, but so far they have just been a tad underwhelming. After week 1, the reigning Stanley Cup champs sit on top of the NHL with a 3-0 record. They raised their banner, and their level of play hasn't faltered one bit. The forechecking nightmare that made them so good in the playoffs continues to be the foundation of their success early on this season, and that'll likely continue throughout the rest of the year. In the basement, it's 2015 all over again. We got the Oilers, Sabres, and Panthers all off to a slow start. That's week 1 in about 3 minutes or less. Let us know what you think about the season so far, and if you enjoyed the format of these weekly recap videos. If you want more deep dive content for the season, make sure you click on any of the videos on the screen here and subscribe to the channel.